sick and tired of the bitching and whining, because bitching and whining without any solutions is a recipe for insanity, misery, and depression. Day in the neighborhood, right? Yesterday was kind of interesting. Good morning, good morning, good morning. Also, it is the voice of the victim. I don't feel that I'm a fucking victim. I don't think that any of you are victims, unless you're truly a victim of assault or some other heinous crime. The problem is there is a victimhood mentality that is so deep and is so embedded that anytime you poke it, you're being unfair, you're being unfair, you're doing something wrong. See, I used to work in the medical profession, worked in the emergency room, used to talk to docs all the time. How do you cure a disease? You can treat symptoms, which is not a cure, it's just to make you feel better. Or you could go down to the root cause and cure the source of the disease. Now, when you have people who are caught up on that, it ain't fair, some very interesting things happen. They adopt a position of, I can't do X, Y, and Z because I'm a victim. I can't do this because I'm a victim. And these are some really interesting, and I do mean interesting, concepts to absorb, concepts to even think are somewhat decent to look at in your life. It is really, really crazy. I mean, I'm just amazed at how people will sit there and think about how life, but you don't mind. There's a bunch of examples like that, and people just like, I don't want to talk about that. I don't want to bring that up. No, Glendon, we don't want to talk about that. But we're going to talk about it today. And let's see, let me do something really quickly here. Get myself set up for success today, because like yesterday was a lovely day. Even though things were not fair, it was an awesome day. It seriously was. There's a lot of good things going down and a lot of good things that are coming up. So what I'm going to do, and let's just put that there. Good morning to the people in the chat room who are up already, which is kind of shocking. And let's jump into this. Let me tell you. I don't need that. I need this. This is what I need. There it is. Okay. So before we jump into all of this good, wonderful stuff, what I want you to understand is, if you want to be a hero, if you want to live a different kind of life and look at the world through a different prism, not one of victimhood, go to hustlerskungfu.com and get yourself the Hustlers Bundle, which is everything on the site and everything that is coming for one price of $350. That offer is good until September 30th, 6 p.m. So with that, let's just jump off into this wonderful world of unfairness, how life is horrible and how you should just lay down and die, or you just keep complaining. See, this is how I'm built. I think complaining is part of the process. Some people who have victimhood mentality think complaining is the process. That's the big difference. But before we jump into that, I'm going to give you some examples of how things are unfair that you don't seem to mind that they're unfair. If you're walking down the street and you find $300-400 cash, you're the only person on the street, you see nobody, it's just there in the corner. You look around, you pick up the money, you go to a few stores, you know you're a good person. Like, hey, has anyone lost any money? Because you don't tell exactly how much was lost, so you don't get ganked. And no, it's like, no one's coming here. Nope, 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 nope. And you do this for an hour. So you go home, you've got yourself 300, 450 bucks. Is that fair? No, it's not fair. Happened to me. It used to happen to me when I was a kid all the time. I used to find money in the ground all the time. It was a trip. But it's not fair. Is it fair that you can buy a lottery ticket, spend $1, and end up with millions potentially, even though the odds are vastly against that happen? Is that fair? It's not fair. Not even close to fair. But I don't hear anyone bitching about that. See, you bitch about what you perceive to be unfair based upon the benefit. If you are tall and you know that women have a bias against shorter men, you're not out there going, I've actually said that. I've actually asked women who are 5'2". You're 5'2", he's 5'6". He's still taller than you, but I want to wear heels. It's like, well, no, you're 5'2". Well, he at least needs to be 6 feet taller, 6'1". I think only 12% of the population is 6 feet and taller, maybe 12%. And when you get to 6'3", it's like 1% or 2. I mean, seriously, there is a reason that you can go all day long and not see a guy who's 6'6". There's a reason. There's a reason. It's just not that many of them. But no, it's like a lot of these women want Wookiees, so they can just go, wee, swing me around on your shoulders, big Wookie daddy. It's not fair, but it's common. And you can take one of your female friends today. You are a Smurf. Why do you need a Wookie? And they go like, I don't know. I just like how his knuckles drag on the ground. I just like the fur. I just like that primal yell. I don't know. I like Wookiees. And is it fair? No. I think it's biology. I really do. Because you see this all over the world. And that's another thing. Getting off into a little bit of what I talked about yesterday. I can tell based upon his comments that a lot of people have never left the shores of the United States. I think only 15% of the population has a passport. When you get down to black, I think it's like 5%. 5%. So I'm going to hip you to a few things. When I talk about immigrants, I talk about it from a vantage point of someone who's been into a foreign country. I've talked about it from a vantage point of seeing people who live in abject poverty. Now, this is going to offend those people. We have people who live in the hood who are living way better than those folks who are living in abject poverty. We have East Asians, Indians who come over here who are living in abject poverty. We have Asians who are living in abject poverty. Abject poverty is you don't have running water, you don't have electricity. There are some places such as the Philippines, Thailand, where the grids just go out for a few days. Yes, they just 2 days, power's out. The internet goes down. Just ain't shit you can do about it because the infrastructure is shitty. And if you grew up in America and you're of the age of 15, 20, 25, 30, 40, 60, you haven't experienced that shit. You haven't. So look, going back to the fair argument, is it fair that you're in the United States of America? You have all of these opportunities. You have the ability to do so many things, yet some person who comes from abject poverty can come over here, not know the language, and within 5 to 10 years be ahead of your ass. Now, one of the reasons that I'm able to do this stuff is I took note of my Hispanic brothers who used to work for me when I had the storage auction business. I looked at the work ethic. I looked at the family structure because this is how it would go. I would go to Home Depot. Yep, I was one of those people. And I would pick up 2 to 3 of them and it would work. And then I was like, hey, here's some flyers. Go back home. I got great deals. Then they would come on the weekends, spend the money that I paid them with me, the circle of money. Then they would bring their friends. They would bring their fans, their families. They would come in busloads. I remember one time, this one dude I picked up. Oh my God. He comes with his family and they are 3 vehicles deep. I paid him that week maybe $500 And I know they spent at least $1,500 the first time they came. And they came back again and again and again. I speak to you as someone who on a Saturday morning would have people from the Dominican Republic, have Haitians, have folks from Brazil, have folks from Mexico, all up in the warehouse, up in the dollar section, speaking in their native language, talking about stuff. And I've observed the family structure. I observed how they got down. So any of you who want to talk to me and you haven't had that experience, then you're coming from a vantage point of assumption. My opinions are based upon what I have seen. Big, big difference. And you see it with Haitians. You see it with, and let's go with the Nigerians. Now, this is my thing. I don't feel that I have to make shit up to be proud about when the reality is so awesome. This is my big, big problem with victimhood mentality. It robs you of the desire to do better. It robs you of the hope that you can do better. It robs you of the hope of you having a life that can be so wonderful because you think that because of certain factors, white supremacy, white supremacy, white supremacy, white supremacy, white supremacy, you can't do shit. I just don't assume that. I don't believe that. I don't live that. And from my experiences, it has not been the case. And one of the reasons I'm doing these videos and these AM hustles and talking to people is I want kids to understand that that fucked up pathology that some of your parents are trying to give you is not true. It's simply not true. Some of you already know it, but because you're a kid, you can't say anything about it. You just can't. It's just, And with the fairness doctrine of things should be fair, you got to stop being such a self-absorbed, selfish bastard, because I saw a lot of the pain game. If you study history, well, the folks in the hood don't know. They've got this pathology. You can't blame them. I'm going to talk about my journey, something I know very intimately. When I was stuck on black folks' pathology, I had some really jacked up thinking because my mother did this. And I think that's one of the reasons she died. She was ashamed when she died because the last week of her life wasn't the best one. She had 3 kids, 3 different men. And she would never tell me who my father was. Wouldn't tell me, just wouldn't. When I found out, it was so dastardly. No, she wasn't raped or nothing like that. It's just, it explained a lot. It explained a ton of stuff. But due to that whole thing and listening to people, I kind of had that, well, you know, there's no father around. And I was ignoring some stuff because we were poor, but compared to many people, I had a very good upbringing. And then one day I just was in the boarding house and I just like, you know what? You got to let this shit go. It ain't going to happen. She's never going to talk. You got to define your own path. You cannot go ahead and say, well, you know, because this wasn't there or you didn't have the quote biological father figure in your life. And I will also say I never blamed my father. Somehow just intuitively I knew that, you know, she confirmed that it wasn't his fault. He didn't even know I existed. That's some shit she did. And I just let that shit go. And that was around 32. And from 32 up to now, my life just got on this upward trajectory. What I'm saying is, if, you know, fathers are extremely important. And if you don't have one or your mother is not trying to hook you up with someone, go out and find yourself some male mentors. Go out and do it. Your mother may actually try to prevent you from doing this because, quote, masculine men are supposedly dangerous. That testosterone is just going to whip out their nuts and do something, bitch slap you or something like that. And it will make a difference because I had a ton of male mentors. I had my grandfather, Mr. Giles, Mr. Glover, Mr. Jones, who really looked after me quite a bit. There was a ton of men in my neighborhood that I got to see. and be around and hang with and listen to. And a lot of kids aren't even getting that. But when I let go of the victimhood mindset, I replaced it with a success mindset. And you cannot have a victimhood mindset and a success mindset at the same time. You can't. And I saw a lot of victimology. I said, oh, it's unfair. Because this is the thing. You cannot turn back the hands of time. You cannot turn back the clock. You can't change anything that happened before the day is September 10th. Anything that happened before September 10th, going back, you cannot change. You cannot undo. There is no time machine, as much as some people wish there was. You can't do that. It's over. It's done. So you got to take this vantage point of, I'm going to control my future. I'm going to put together some things that will enhance who I am, will make my life better, will create this wonderful, awesome experience for me. You got to take that look. And as long as it's like apologies that, you know, we're fine the way we are. So what if Uncle Glover rapes all the girls in the family? Shh. We just ain't going to talk about that. But our family structure is fine. That happens, unfortunately, a lot in families. A lot. And the reason it happens is because people are cowards and nobody wants to address Uncle Glover or to beat the fuck out of his molesting ass. And it goes on. And then the little girls who are abused then in turn later on become abusers, because that's how the pathology works. And it's really, really sad. But you have people who cling and hold on to those dysfunctional family pathologies and will scream loud and proud if you address them, even though in their little heart of heart, they know it's fucked up. They just know it's fucked up. You cannot, like I will say, you cannot have a success mindset and a victim mindset at the same time. And there's a lot of people with this victim mindset, because if you don't understand the deal with class, you are really missing the big point. And I'm just going to break it down to you, and I ain't talking about myself. My kids are not going to be around some trashy little dirty little kids. Now, unfortunately, it's not the kids' fault that they're trashy and dirty. It's their parents' fault. Parents who have freshly scrubbed little kids who speak English, the Queen's English, whatever the hell you want to call it, properly, do not want their children around kids who do not. They don't. And this is why. You spend more time as a kid with your peers than you do with your parents. And unless your parents really, really have a good control of your environment and make sure that you're exposed to their values, what they want, it is very easy for you to be contaminated by that other stuff, because you're a kid and everything that your parents don't like is super cool. But this is not a black thing. I mean, seriously, look at who hangs out with who. Look at, I mean, it's just, you are who you are by association. And you got these folks who are thinking that the ghetto lifestyle is cool, the hood lifestyle is cool. We make it do what we do. We repping whatever numbers. And are you building institutions? Mm-mm. Are you building family legacies that contain some money somewhere? Mm-mm. But we repping hard. And part of this class thing, which is so important, because let's look at the existence of the poor person in America. And being poor in America is one of the most expensive things that you can do. I mean, it's crazy expensive because of the cost of everything. You have, everything you do is more expensive. You don't have a car, you have to take the bus. You have to take the bus, cabs, Uber. Everything is more expensive. You have less time and an extremely high stress threshold. You're always stressed out. Everything is a life and death decision. You have bills. Do I pay the power bill or do I buy food? They're both equally important. So you call up the power company, you make a deal with them, and then you go to the store and you get as much food as you can for your little dollars. That, for some people, is a generation-long situation that happens from generation to generation to generation to generation. if if someone in the family doesn't become an entrepreneur or change the family structure, those generational cycles are going to keep repeating. And you've got those cycles repeating. And there's this, hold on, wait a minute. This is just funny. Hold on a second. All right. At least I hit that. Good grief. All right, let me find it. Oh, man. All right. I'm going to put this in the comments. Excuse me. This is over in the UK. Okay. I'm going to put this there. This doc is very similar because I watched it last night. It's the same in the world. It's the same shit, and people want to cling to this shit. And yeah, I'm saying, because the thing is, if you're not doing anything to change it, you're clinging to it. I mean, it's just really, really crazy. Excuse me. But when I look at setting up life and creating ways, you're going to be able and do extraordinary things and gain extraordinary advantages based on your efforts and your gall to dream of such a thing. But if you never dream of these things, and if you just keep going and going down that path of life's got to be fair, life has to be perfectly fair, you can't make shit fair. That's why I hate, he's a football player, and he took all Asian trophies away. I think it was James Harrison. I was like, bravo. That's bullshit. It is absolutely bullshit. And you have many people who are on bullshit titty, just, and then later on they become a point. You have to deal with reality. You have to deal with reality. There's no ands and buts about it. You got to deal with it. You can't. It is a timely thing, any and every one. At some point, be there. Dad's not going to. Uncle Carl will not be there in life. And if you've been imbued with this unfairness doctrine, you're going to suffer really nasty. Life's not fair. Get over it. Let it go. Sometimes it's going to work in your favor. And I know, there's this thing. When it works in your favor, do you give those results? Go put them back in the pool? That was unfair that. So I'm in the pool so we can all have it. No, you're not. You're going to like, that was really good. I like that. I want more of that. Give me some of that more unfairness in my favor stuff. And you will have people doing that. You will have people going on and on about that, which is really interesting when you look at the number of folks who on any given day versus creating better circumstances. Just really will. I mean, it gets to be really, really crazy. But how is life not being fair a good thing? If you start a business, and I can promise you this, you start a business and you continue to push, at some point you're gonna push through, and at some point, I mean, seriously, you'll be able to make more money on a month than most people make in a year. I'm talking about net. You'll be able to do all these wonderful things in your life, create these wonderful situations if you do that, and it will be totally 100% unfair. Because you're working 40 hours a week and your friend John is working 40 hours a week. You make, $180,000 a month. John makes $4,000 a month. That's your boy. That's your dude. You talk, you hang out, but he can't do the shit you can do. Is that fair? Usually you get the drinks because you know he's pressed, and that's your boy, and you don't care, and you never bring it up because you know they make him feel bad. But it's not fair. It's just reality. And it could be your reality if you let go of the victimhood mentality of this thing that's got to be fair, that feeling that shit's unfair is not going to change shit. And I have a lot of people who want me to change my attitude and to change what I say because I have a platform. That's really the issue, because there's a lot of people who feel just as I do. And a lot of them chimed in yesterday on that AM hustle. The problem is, you see, the thing is, I've been saying this stuff since 2009. For those folks who've been around that long, they know this to be true. This message has not changed. What has changed is my reach. That's the issue. Because now it's like, whoa, long as I had 500 subscribers and was talking about this, nobody cared. Now I have 31,000 subscribers, and when you look at what YouTube is doing, the reach is much larger than it used to be, because I'm seeing how they're recommending videos. They're changing a lot of stuff, and it's deeper than the 31,000. It's much deeper, because last month I had 303,000 views, and out of the 300,000 views, 250,000 were not subscribers. So last month I had a reach of 250,000. Yeah. That's the problem. That's the problem. Not what I'm saying, not who I am, because it's not that's the problem. And people feel that I should, quote, the black family code of we po, we's black, and we's fucked. Master, give us some corn. Give us some. I just want. Don't have to be a good mule. Don't have to be a good mule. Give me a broke down egg, the mule. I'll take anything, master. I'll take anything. I'm not towing that fucking subservient bullshit, mealy mouth. No, you shouldn't either. You don't have to do that. It's not. You don't have to. You don't have to. And I think, based upon the results of yesterday, and then probably we'll see in the future, there's way more black folks who think like me than that whole entitlement, victimhood bullshit. Because you cannot be a hero with a victimhood V on your chest. I'm a victim. My daddy wasn't there. My mama wasn't there. At some point, you 10, yeah, that's a fact. That's real. You 16, that's real. You 20, that's real. You 32, you're fucking loser. At some point, you're going to have to put on your adult pants, your adult boxers, your adult panties, and be real about that. It's just like, that didn't happen, but I'll be the new person in the family to create a new family tree, a new structure of love, of security. I'll be that person. Someone's got to be the person on the white horse. Someone's got to take that step, and it might have to be you. Just saying. All right, for those of you who have stuck around to the end, let me jump right into it. I've learned some stuff that's going to blow your mind, because it blew my mind, and I have 8 years of experience that can literally change your life, change the life of your family, and put so much money in your pockets you walk sideways. We're on the precipice of this huge market shift. Remember finals week, that intensive crush of information and preparation? That's what I've been through, learning about video marketing. I thought I was good with video marketing. I've learned that I knew some stuff, and I learned that there's a lot of stuff I didn't know. Give you an example. One of the things that I was doing with this channel, which was all this massive content, posting every day, it was good. But there was one thing that I was missing. That was the difference between making $1, and that's the difference between making $5,000. Not doing this one thing, I learned that. If you are serious about your business, any business, I don't care if you sell cars, I don't care if you sell popsicle sticks, I don't care if you sell chinchillas. Video marketing can radically transform your business or start your business. If you're selling a physical product, you need to be doing video marketing. So many ways right now that you can amp that up, it's ridiculous. One of the things that I learned while I was gone, and it's going to benefit you, is how to properly build a YouTube channel. Build it quick, build it where it makes money, build it where your videos rank, are recommended and pushed by YouTube. Another thing that I learned, how to use digital advertising in a way that I never imagined. It's seriously blowing my mind. Things that I learned the last 3 days, and that's why you haven't seen me on Facebook. You've been putting this stuff to use, and it's been working. You could be brand new for YouTube channel, making money in 30 days. You're going to use AdSense, or get money the first week. You already have your products to sell. I'll tell you, I spent $2,500 going to this conference. Plus what I already know, you're getting so much value, so much training, it's ridiculous. Because this is the thing, I'm gonna pop my wig. I knew things they didn't know. I was in the room with people who created commercials, who created YouTube channels. You've probably watched, definitely seen their commercials. It was blowing my mind because in selling products, it's 2009 on this channel. So with that different level of skill set that I didn't really appreciate until I got around other video marketing professionals to really understand what I knew, because I was going around, I was telling my story. People were tripping. Seriously, people were tripping, but tripping in a good way. Let me explain. When I sat down with one of the professionals, I said, look, I wrote a book, I did this, blah, blah, blah. Eyes got wild. They got so wild because he said, I don't really know of anyone that's done that. And I've been doing this for like 10 years. I tell you all this stuff to give you a preview coming down the pike. You can benefit from what I learned and what I already know. Teach you how to build a YouTube channel the correct way, and teach you how to do a YouTube channel and never show your face. Teach you how to build a YouTube channel that makes real money, $500, $1,500, $2,000 a month. Teach you how to build a YouTube channel that sells your product. Teach you how to build a YouTube channel that sells other people's products. Teach you how to build a YouTube channel where you can get into affiliate marketing at an epic level. This is the training that's going down in Video Marketing Tribe. It'll be on YouTube. It will not be anywhere else.